Hello, lovely people. I am so excited to be able to start another step in my journey on my YouTube channel of Always Live Lovely. I don't know if you noticed, but the banner has changed a little bit and it represents mental health, music, and spirituality. And that definitely brings it full circle into if you really are intentional and look at my logo, it says think, feel, be, live. So I feel like my business is finally coming fully into fruition of what I've always wanted it to be. So the think is for the mental health part, the feel is for the music part, the be is for the spirituality part, and then just live lovely from there. So today I'm going to be sharing with you my journey spiritually because I know that that is a newer component of the Always Live Lovely brand. And in case y'all have any questions, I want to be able to answer some of those. Or if you have some of the same interests as me, I'm hoping that it can encourage you to truly be able to honor who you are, that you feel inspired, and that you're able to be proud of the path that you choose. So let me think. Where do I want to start? So I wanted to talk a little bit more specifically about how I've arrived to practicing and studying hoodoo. Ever since I was little, of course, I grew up Christian. I love me some God. Can't nobody tell me God is not real because He is, and He showed up for me plenty of times. But I will say that okay, let me just backtrack a little bit. So I will say that when I was younger, I loved like being in church with my cousins, being in the plays. I've been singing in the choir since I was like 2. I really enjoyed getting all dressed up, especially when I was a younger child because my mama had me in the little frills and thrills, okay? And I really loved just going with my whole family, the church picnics, vacation Bible school. A lot of my family members went to the same church, so I really loved and appreciate that. But when it comes to some of the customs and things that were done, of course, I'm realizing that's, of course, a good chunk of it is connected to hoodoo. So I have even deeper appreciation. But I had some areas of confusion growing up. And I don't know, if y'all feel the same way. If you have felt this way, leave a comment below because I would like to know. But I do know that I come across a lot of people that had probably some of the same questions that I had. Like I did understand, like, well, why can't I catch the Holy Ghost, or what is happening, or I would feel scared seeing people catch it. I was like, am I not chosen? I know I gave my life to God. I don't know, like, what's happening. I always had different questions about the Bible, what was missing from it, why certain questions couldn't be answered. I always wonder why I couldn't question God or ask Him questions directly. Why did I have to be so fearful? And just like the whole nine, I always felt like there was something different that could be a little bit more in alignment for me being able to seek whatever it was that my soul was seeking. I always had some interest in astrology because, baby, I'm a Leo. And Leo energy all day, every day. It just is what it is. Queen. So, I definitely always loved astrology. I had a period where, and I still do, enjoy crystals, but I had a period where I was really studying into crystals. I liked different witchy things. For a second, I was like, am I like gonna do witchy things and be more into witchy things? I wanted to go to Salem. I was so intrigued with American Horror Story, that whole thing. I also had periods where, of course, I had different spiritual abilities that I couldn't necessarily understand or that would make me a little bit afraid, and to where the point to where I would like pray them away. And I now, of course, welcome them, but I didn't understand them at first and what the gift truly was. I also had got to a point to where I just didn't like how certain things were ran, or maybe how offerings and tithes were taken. And then I had an experience where I joined the church and I decided to leave it because I really wanted to get to a point where I was like, I'm gonna just read the Bible myself from front to back. I want to be able to experience God just by sitting in nature and be just so filled with joy just by sitting in my room. I don't want to need anything to help um, get me to that point. I wanted to build an authentic relationship for myself, and for me, it just wasn't happening in the church when I got to college age. So I went on that journey myself. Of course, now in my understanding of hoodoo, I'm realizing just how much different tools are used to invoke the spirit and welcome it in. I'm appreciative of that. So, like I said, I'm always appreciative of my Christian background and experiences that I've had. But I definitely know that I needed something that made me feel more fulfilled and made me want to feel more being able to take action. Because I also was always been big on manifestation and a believer that, like, if I am a part of God and God is a part of me, then I should be able to have access to more things. Or even, why do I have to go through this person in order to get to God? Why can't I just go directly to God? Just so many questions. And I would say, when after I had my baby and I went through that whole postpartum depression, anxiety, OCD journey, if you didn't see some of the last episodes of my podcast, check those out. It talks about the whole journey. But I got to a lowest low, okay? Like, I'm talking lowest low. And then, so in part of me needing to rebuild myself back up, I realized I needed to go back to the core of who I was. And some of that, of course, looked like tapping back to the things I love as a child. I'm still doing that and testing it out. I've fallen back in love with reading books. Now I don't gotta read books for school, because let me tell y'all, going to college and having to read books all the time, child, who want to read for pleasure after that? After I'd read 1,000 pages a week? No. So I've fallen back in love with reading. I've been doing puzzles, collecting things again. I have been, let me think, Lego sets, coloring, being adventurous and fun and playful, just all of that. I also have had Reiki done, which was really amazing. I've been to therapy. I've had hypnosis done. Like, I literally have been massage therapy. I've been doing and seeking everything I can in order to get myself out of that hole that I was in. And luckily, I'm here and I'm thriving, and I still have a way to go, but I feel totally different than I did even a year ago. And I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful for my support that stuck by me through that and still sticking by me, especially my husband, who also has played a big part in encouraging me to go down this path of hoodoo. So, baby, when they say wait for God's best, they don't be playing about that, because I know my husband is God's best for me, because he always is looking out for me and my good. And it's kind of like God being in the flesh here with me. Sometime I be feeling like I really feel God's love through my husband and through my baby boy. But let me get back on topic, because when I be talking about my mans, I can keep going all day. So I really had got to a point also where I was really longing for some support and some connection with family members that passed away, and wanting and searching. I know I've been taught, like, you know, when you pass away, you're with God and you're not supposed to be talking to your ancestors, because we've been taught like that could not be them, etc., etc. But I felt like there was something different. And then, so skipping a little bit ahead, me and my husband went on a journey to New Orleans, because I was trying to figure out, like, well, what is it that I want to do? Is it voodoo? I want to feel closer to what my ancestors did in Africa. My husband had got me the different ancestry tests. I just was on a journey of seeking. And then I realized that there was a term hoodoo. So I'm like exploring and trying to figure out, learning, just reading, trying to figure out where I resonate, listening to a bunch of podcasts, going to museums. And there's a show that, it's funny because it's part of me and my husband's a poem at her wedding, P Valley. And P Valley is a show that has some hints of hoodoo in it. And they did a more so like a, not documentary, but I guess you can kind of call it documentary. I don't know, but down in the valley, it kind of like goes to the different points in the South that influenced the show. And there was this wonderful, beautiful lady named Miss Lisa that was on one of the episodes. And long story short, my husband encouraged me to see if she offers things, and she did offer mentorship, because I'm like, okay, if I go through this journey, I don't even know where to start. I feel like maybe some of my ancestors did it. An aunt that I have alive that dibbled and dabbled in it. I can't really ask her too much, so I was just like, you know, how am I going to do this? So I ended up reaching out to her. She ended up accepting me into a program, and then God decided it was time to call her home and her transition early. So after a month of being in the program, and it was probably like week 1 or 2, she transitioned. And it was so hard for me because I felt lost. Like, I was like, I already feel kind of black sheepish, like nobody understands. I'm losing some friends. Family members are like, what are you doing? Are you doing demonic stuff? I really was longing for a community, and I was like, and now the person that could have helped me create that community and that was going to be a big support for me is not here anymore. So I was grieving deeply. And me and my husband prayed, my prayers were answered, and lovely alumni and people that had been taught by the beautiful Miss Lisa decided to take us under their wings for this next remainder of the year so that we could finish out and they could keep the legacy going. And I have just been so grateful because I finally feel like I found my people. You know what I'm saying? If it was Black Sheep, then we heard. Okay, we heard together. So I'm really excited about being able to have this community because I'm able to ask the questions that need to be asked and not be afraid. I'm able to let go of the indoctrination. I'm able to be my authentic self. I'm able to unlearn fear and be free. And I finally feel like when it comes to having a spiritual practice, I feel at home. And it doesn't mean that I'm not going to go to church. Like, I'm super interested me and my husband went to some churches of the religious science, and I feel like that's a better fit to pair maybe with the Hoodoo. And I want to continue to see what that church service is like, because it has the flexibilities that I need within it to be my full self. And I definitely feel like it's important for me to tap into what's authentic for me, especially since having a child, because I want my child to be free. I don't want to place too much on him. I want to be his free self, and he may not choose to practice Hoodoo. He may not choose to be a Christian. I'm hoping to just at least give him a relationship with God, and he choose what to do with from there. And I realized, like, on this journey that a lot of the times we choose our religion or our spiritual journey by what we're introduced to. And I wasn't really introduced to a whole lot of different things, only one way of believing and one way of thinking. And I feel it's important to be able, I'm appreciative of having that because it gave me a foundation, don't get me wrong, but I feel like it's important to be able to introduce your children even to a couple of different things. The world is so beautiful. And even when I was getting my master's degree and we had to take a spirituality class, I realized there's so many different ways to get to the one God. And who's to say who's right and who's to say who's wrong? So I want to be able to give him more options, and I want him to see it's important to just be free and honor yourself, and that it's not scary to honor your ancestors. And it's not scary to build a relationship with the land, and it's not scary to do all these things that we're taught is not the right way. And so I definitely want this to be an encouraging video. I'm having such a lovely time learning. I'm still a baby in the Hoodoo practitioner world, but I do want to be able to bring these themes up to this channel a little bit more, whether it be through media, whether it be through books, whether it be through teaching about different topics. Maybe it can lead to me doing some classes. I would love to be able to bring forth mental health and Hoodoo related topics and how to be able to support yourself in that way. I want this to be a safe space. I want this to be a place where people can ask questions. I want this to be a place where people feel seen and they feel heard. I want this to be a community because that's something that I always imagined, always would love it to be, is more of a community. And I'm hoping that even by all the decisions that I've been making with myself and my journey to freedom, that it just breaks chains. It breaks generational hardships and curses and, you know, just creates a clear pathway. So I'm really excited. Really excited. I'm going to, or at least I'm thinking about, like, I have Instagram. I deleted my TikTok. But I usually post everything on Instagram and YouTube the same, but I think there's certain things I'm just going to post just for YouTube. Like, I'll speak like, hey, go watch this video on Instagram. But, I mean, hey, I put on Instagram, go watch this video on YouTube. But I really just want something to just be for, like, you know, YouTube. And, you know, certain posts, you know, are fine to be on Instagram. But I'm excited to see where this goes and to see who it resonates. And if it doesn't resonate with you or you don't have anything nice to say, keep it to yourself. That would be great. And if you have more information that you would like to share, or that you're like, hey, this is something I know and it can enhance, put it in the comments. I'm totally welcome to that. I thank you all for listening. I dedicate this video to the transitioned beautiful spirit, Miss Lisa. of Memphis Conjure. I'm so grateful for you in the little time that we've had. You inspired me to continue to go down this route, and I definitely want to say that I see your spirit in all of your students, and we're definitely the legacy that you hope to leave on this earth. And I'm just so grateful. But yeah, like I said, if y'all have any in-depth questions about just this journey, my journey that I'm going through, go check out my old podcast episodes, Breaking Barrier and Mental Health Discussion, because that was a podcast that I created in order to be able to talk about topics that are stigmatizing. I ain't never been afraid to shy away from any type of thing that's stigmatizing. I'm gonna push the ball. So go watch those, because I made them to be timeless episodes that apply no matter what the day, no matter what the year is. Watch my music, it's there. That's like an offering to y'all, and being able to give healing and able to be able to touch people through images and through music, which is a universal language. And like I said, I want to bring even more mental health content, because I am a licensed marriage and family therapist and a professional singer. And so it's just tying everything into one, because why do we always need to niche down all the way to where we take away all the things that make us special? If this is my channel, I should be able to sprinkle a little bit of all of me into this and what keeps me interested, because I really want people to be like this is a platform for us to be ourselves and be expressive, and for people to feel like they connect. So this is what I'm offering y'all. I hope y'all rock with it, and I'll be back soon.